Good afternoon. I mostly just wanted to talk a little bit about, this is probably blowing right in the microphone. I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I just experienced and kind of reflect on it. I had the opportunity to film or sit in on a conversation with a woman who was the grandmother of an 11-year-old girl who had committed suicide. And I'd heard about that story, and I had also heard about another story of an 8-year-old committing suicide. And really, I guess in the last month before that, I'd never really thought of young people committing suicide or at that age. You hear about high schoolers every once in a while, and that's something that I can sort of wrap my head around. But 11 years old is really young, and that's really rough. To even understand that an 11-year-old has that kind of concept of self, and that there's something so wrong with me that death is the answer to it. And I definitely consider myself a pretty emotional person. I generally wear my emotions on my sleeve for the most part. But when it comes to objective or subjective empathy, sometimes I'm not as quick to get involved, I think, as others are. It takes a lot for me to look at a situation and really feel sorrow. Not that I don't recognize this sad situation and I can't put myself in their shoes, but I don't normally have a very emotional reaction to emotional things unless they're happening, very close to me. But today, during that conversation, I found myself really having, an emotional reaction to it that really caught me off guard. And, I think even just, my current girlfriend who had been through a very traumatic car accident, I think knowing her and hearing the stories of her family really opened my eyes to it. And I think I've just been a little bit more receptive. And maybe that's just part of the growing as you get older and you understand a little bit more about life. But I have had times in my life where, I don't think I ever would have committed suicide, but I suffer from depression, and that's always been something that I can relate with the mentality of where you have to be in order for that to be an option. And I think a lot of people do, and I think now that mental illness and is getting talked about more and more people are opening up about their experiences with it. But it really is a mind melder, because I'm not going to put words in anybody's mouths, but with all of the stories that I've heard that are similar to what I listened to today, it seems like a lot of it comes down to bullying. But I don't know if I agree that bullying, because all kids are bullied. I was bullied in middle school because I was this fat kid, and I think everybody at some point in their life, whether they were children or adults, has been bullied to some degree. But that doesn't make you suicidal necessarily. It's like the mixture of the brain chemistry. And maybe this is an ignorant thing to say, but I think focusing on bullying is kind of the wrong villain in this situation. There has to be a chemical imbalance that's causing this, and why is it happening at such a young age? Has suicide happened at a young age before? Because I'd never heard of it, and I'm not saying if I haven't heard of it, it doesn't exist, but it's something to think about. I don't know, this is kind of depressing, but just wanted to speak candidly about it, because I figured it's something that kind of was significant. And yeah. All right, thanks for watching.